Good evening. So today we are going to study in detail about Roman numerals. I have examples for each of the cases. So we have different rules in Roman numerals that we use to write any number into Roman and then vice versa. So we'll discuss that in detail today. Okay. I mean, towards the end of this, you'll be able to convert any number to Roman number, any decimal number to Roman number uh, without any issue. Okay, so I mean, we have already discussed about what Roman numerals are. So this was a sort of number system that was used by Romans, and we still tend to use it today some, right? So it was a very popular number system and spanned from Rome to say Europe as well. But somehow doing calculations or computations on Roman numerals was very tedious. So even today, if you use decimal system versus Roman number system, so you'll see that the decimal number system is much easier to add or subtract when compared to the Roman numeral system, right? That is why, I mean, the decimal number system became even more popular than the Roman number system. Okay, some of the application of Roman number system that we still use today is, first of all, we use it to, I mean, some of the clocks have Roman numbers embedded onto it to compute or to measure the time. Then we have different cloth sizes. So sometimes they may be represented in decimal numbers, but most of the time the cloth size we have, usually the shirt or t-shirt have this Roman numbers, right? So we have XL, double XL, triple XL, and so on. Right? We also have M. Then we also use Roman numbers to represent the classes or the grades we are studying, right? And then it is also used to represent important historical timelines or any name of the ruler. For example, do you know who was the last ruler of France? Do you know the name of the ruler?
No, sir.
So it was King Louis XVI, right? So King Louis 16. So how they represented 16 is using the Roman number. So they did not write it like 16. They used Roman numbers to represent the name of the king as well. Okay. Any question?
No, sir.
Okay. So the Roman number was based on the 7 foundation stones. I mean, we have 7 different values based on which we can compute any value that we want, or we can write any value in the Roman number system. So I represents 1, right? V represents 5, X represents 10, L represents 50, C represents 100, D represents 500, and M would represent 1000. Okay. So then, I mean, these are, so if you want to represent 1, you can use I. If you want to represent 10, you can use X. If you want to represent C, you can use 100. If you want to represent N, you can represent, or you can use 1000, right? But what if I say, want to write 25? Right, then I cannot rely on only one of these letters, right? I have to use a combination of letters, right? So when we are combining Roman numbers, or when we are repeating Roman numbers, using it more than one time, or say combining, so when we are using the same thing 2 times, or when we are combining 2 or more letters to form a number, there are certain rules that has to be followed. Okay, and they are very important while we are writing any Roman number. Otherwise, I mean, like there have been cases that we discussed. So for example, 1970, right? Or say, yeah.
Sir, there is a doubt.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sir, what is the letter for 5000?
5000. A V bar. So if you use a V bar, that would represent 5000. So if you use the letter for 5, right, V, and just put a bar over it, over bar, right? So this is the bar. So if you just write this V, it will represent 5. If you use a V bar, it will represent 5000. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So as we discussed, so there are certain rules that has to be followed. So the first rule is, when you want to repeat, say if you want to write 2, right? So you cannot use just any of the letters that is here. So
sir,
you can,
we will write I because I is 1 plus 1, 2.
Yeah. So when you are repeating two numbers, that means you're simply adding the same value. So if I am repeating I, it means I'm adding 1 and 1 again, right? So this will become 2. If I'm repeating x and x, so this would become 10 plus 10, which is equal to 20, right? Similarly, if I'm representing or if I'm repeating x 3 times, it would become 10 plus 10 plus 10, which is equal to 30.
But sir, if we want to write 40, then we have to not repeat x 4 times. Instead, we have to write xl because l is 50 and 50 minus 10 is x. 50 minus 10 is x. So l minus x is xl 40.
Yeah.
So 40 will write xl.
Yeah, and not 4 times x, right? So that is where you have the second rule, right? I mean, these rules are very important to remember. Sometimes, I mean, we do know how to represent 2, but we forget the rule, right? So the first rule, remember, the first rule says repeating a symbol. If you're repeating any symbol, it would just add the value. So the second rule says when you are repeating a letter, right? Say x, 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 right? So you can do a maximum repetition of 3 times. So you can only repeat a maximum of 3 times. You cannot repeat it to 4 times. So you cannot write 4x, right? So you have a symbol, you cannot repeat it more than 3 times. 3 times is the maximum you can repeat. So if you write x, 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 this will become 30. If you write c, 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 it will become 300. However, if you write v, I, 4 times I, this will be incorrect.
Because ix is 9.
Yeah. So
because
here
x is 10 and I is 1. So x minus 1 is 9.
Yeah.
Ix.
So here, I mean, the second rule is being violated. Why? Because we are repeating I 4 times. So this is not the correct way of representing. So I mean 9, there are multiple ways in Roman numbers to represent this. And why this is the only correct? Because this is going to violate one or the other rule, right? This is not going to violate any of the rules, right? Now there is one exception, V, L and D. So they can never be repeated. You can never repeat V, L or D.
Means?
So for example, if you are repeating V 2 times,
it's wrong.
Yeah.
L 2 times, it's also wrong. D 2 times is also wrong. Got it.
Yeah. So because this means 10, but you already have a symbol for 10. Similarly, if you are repeating L 2 times, it will give you 100. You already have a symbol for 100. And if you are repeating D 2 times, you'll get 1000. You already have a symbol for 1000. Right? Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I mean V, L and D. So these are exceptions. They do not follow most of the rules. Right? So you can just remember their names. And then if you look at this table, right? So they are alternating. So V, L and D. Right? So they are alternating. So these three never follow any of the rules that we are discussing currently. So we'll see wherein we have exceptions to each of them. Okay, before this, let me just give you a few examples. So, I mean, if I have this, is 40 equal to this?
Sir, can M be repeated 2 times?
Yeah, you can repeat M up to 3 times. The only letters that you cannot repeat is V, L and D. Other than this, you can repeat any one up to 3 times maximum. Okay, is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now I have some questions. So the first question is, can I write 40 as 4x?
No, sir.
Okay, how can we write this 40?
Sir, can I check?
Yeah, sure. Okay. So XL, 40 is XL. Okay. Then 110. Can I use double LX to write 110?
No, sir.
Why?
Sir, the answer is...
Why is this not the answer?
Sir, because L cannot be repeated, the second rule.
Yeah, very good. So you cannot repeat L. So what were the letters that we cannot repeat?
Sir, writing.
Yeah, V, L, D. right? So 5, 50, 500. So you cannot repeat them, right? So this is V, this is L, and this is T, right? Okay, 15. Can we write 15 as this? V, V, V?
No, sir.
Why?
Sir, the answer is in the checkbox.
Yeah. But why is this incorrect?
Because VV is X and we can't repeat V again the second rule.
Yeah, very good. 400. Can we write 400 as 4C?
No, sir. The answer is in chat box.
Okay, CL. Is CL equal to 400?
Yes, sir.
What is the value of L?
Answer in chat box.
L is not 500. L is actually 50. Right?
Oh,
Yeah, CD will be the answer. So L is 50, D is 500. Right? Okay, then moving on to the next rule. Any doubts on this? No doubts. Okay. Then we have the rule for addition. So what we had studied previously is if I'm repeating some letters, for example, I and I, so this will mean 2, X and X, this will mean 20, and so on. Now we are mixing up two letters and then adding them. Here we are repeating the same thing. Here we are mixing two numbers or adding two different letters. Here we are adding the same letters, right? So what this says is that if we are writing a smaller letter to the right, that means addition.
and if we are writing to the left, that means subtraction.
Yeah. So V, and to the right, if I have I, so that means 5 plus 1, that is 6. Right? V and I plus I, if I'm writing this 7, so this will become 5 plus 2, which is 7. X and I, if I'm writing this, so this will become 10 plus 1 plus 1, which is 12. Right? What about V, I? 8. What about this?
Wrong.
Yeah, this will be incorrect because again violating rule 2, right? We cannot repeat it more than 3 times. Okay, then you have the rule 4. Rule 4 says if you are having a small number or a small numeral that is to the left, that would mean subtraction, right? For example, IV means 5 minus 1, that is 4, because you have I written to the left. If it was to the right, it would mean addition.
Sir, you told me to write 400. It is making the rule 4.
Yeah, very good. So to make this, rule 4, because if you're writing C and then D means 500, C means 100. Right, so small numeral is to the left of larger numeral, so that is why we subtract and get 400. Right? Again, there is one exception to this. Right? So if you are looking at this I, right? Okay, before this, can you represent 49 or can you write 49 in Roman number? Okay, X, L, I, X. Okay, but why can't we write this as IL? This is also 49, right? Right, because this is 50 and this is 1. I have, based on rule 4, if I have a small numeral to the left of a larger numeral, this would mean we should subtract.
Small numeral can be minused only by 100 or 1000 or 10.
Okay, what about this? IV.
Or 1.
Yeah, so here I have 1.
a 3-digit number with 3-digit number. Like CD. D is 500 and C is 100. 3-digit minus. Then 2-digit minus. 2-digit minus 40. XL. L is 50 and X is 10. 50 double digit minus.
Okay, you're close. But
digit IV.
Yeah. What about 9?
IX.
Yeah, then you have 2 digit with 1 digit.
How 9 is not a 2-digit?
No, I mean
Yeah.
10 is a 2 digit. Right? 10 is 2 digit, right? I is 1 digit. So then you are subtracting 1 digit from 2 digit. I mean, you are very close to it. So see, then we come to rule number 5. Right? So if you have I can only be subtracted to 5 and 10, right? Or V or X. Okay? If you have X, then you apply the double digit rule that you mentioned, L or C. But here, see, L is only the double digit, C is a triple digit number.
Oh! But
Okay.
with 1 digit, we can do both 1 and double digit, single and double digit. With double digit, we can do both double and triple digit. With triple digit, we can do triple digit and 4 digit.
Yeah. Right. But again, there is a catch. With 1 digit, you can do 1 digit as well as 2 digit. But this is also a 2 digit, which you cannot do.
Which is also 2 digit?
L. Right. So just remember this thing. If I just go back to this table, right? I. You have I, right? I you can only subtract with this 2. Right? X you can only subtract with L and C. And C you can only subtract with D and M. Okay, is this clear?
Yes, sir.
So if I say again the same thing, IL, is this 49? No, right? Why? Because what rule is it violating? Yeah. So you cannot subtract I with L. You can only subtract I with either V or X. Okay, now you know why this is not equal to 49. Now say, we'll move on to the next rule. Before that, can I write 50 as LC? Why?
It is violating the rule number 5.
By rule number 5, we did not have anything related to L. We were just saying that if I have I can only be subtracted from V or X. If I have X can only be subtracted from L or C. And if I have C can only be subtracted from D and M. We did not mention anything about L, V or D. Right? So
then we are violating the rule number. We are not violating any rule.
yeah. So tell me, how do you represent 50? L. So I mean, there's no point in writing like this, right? LC. Right. So that is why it is incorrect. See, as I mentioned previously, V, L, and D. So they violate almost all of the rule. They are exception to most of the rule. What was the first rule wherein it was exception? We can never repeat any these 2 times, right? We can never repeat these. And the second time wherein we are violating, this is violating or this is an exception to any of the rule is V, L, and D cannot be subtracted from any numeral. Is this clear?
L cannot be subtracted by any numeral.
No.
Can't D be subtracted by M?
No, see, because if you write dm,
Yes, got.
right? Similarly, if you write, so again, you cannot repeat this because if you are repeating, say, d 2 times, it is equivalent to writing m. That is why you cannot repeat d 2 times. And you cannot even subtract d from any number because, yeah, go ahead.
DD has no value of writing DD because DD is
Let's talk about this DM.
1000.
So M is 1000, D is 500. If you write DM, it is equal to 500, but 500 we already know it is equal to D. So there is no point in subtracting D from any number. Similarly, there's no point in subtracting L from any number. There's no point in subtracting V from any number. But the remaining numbers, that is I, X, and C. So then you also have M, but I mean, we are limited in this grade. We are limited to M. We are not studying any numbers that are higher. Otherwise, we would have studied the rule for M as well. So I can be subtracted from V and X. X can be subtracted from L and C can be subtracted from D and M. Okay, is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this was the example. So you cannot subtract V, L, or D from any number. Right? So let me give you some questions. So 45, is it equal to VL? Why or why not?
We are again. We are violating rule 2. V and L can't be subtracted. VLD can't be subtracted by any numbers.
Yeah. So V, L, and D cannot be subtracted from any number. Right. So that is why. So this is not actually rule 2. I mean, it is okay if you don't remember the rule name as such, rule number as such. You just need to know what the rule was. Right. So the rule was V, L, and D cannot be subtracted from any number. Right. Okay. So how do we represent 45 then?
Easy peasy.
So X, L, and then V. So this will be 45. Then L, M. Is this equal to 950?
L can't be subtracted by any number.
Yeah. So how do we represent 950?
950.
Yeah. MCL. Okay. So can you tell me the value for this? I mean, just calculate as if you have not seen this number. MCL. Yeah, good. CML, right? Because MCL is
1550.
1150.
No, 1150.
Yeah, 1150. So CML, because this is 900 and then this is 50. Okay, DM. Is 500 equal to DM?
D cannot be subtracted by any number.
Yeah. So what is the value?
For 500?
Yeah. D. Okay. Any doubt up to this rule? Okay. Now see, there is again one very important rule. Say for example 970. Can we write this as?
Title 970.
Yeah. So see, can we write this as XXX and then M?
No, sir.
Why? Yeah, C M L X X. But why can't we write it like this?
XXX is 30 and M is 1000.
Yeah.
So it will become 700, not 970.
No, XXX is 30. M is 1000. Right. So won't this
You just
become?
need to cut all these 3 X's, write C before M and then LXX after M.
Yeah, I mean, but why can't I write it like this?
Because because it's violating rule number 5.
And what was rule 5 exactly?
Rule 5 was one digit, single digit can be only subtracted by single and double digit. Double digit can only be double digit can be only subtracted by double and triple digit, and triple digit can be only subtracted by triple and four digit.
Not exactly correct. I mean, see, first of all, what you do is, for that rule, write numbers like this in ascending order: I, V, X, L, C, D, M. Right? So these are the numbers. Right? I can only be subtracted from V and X. Okay? So this is the first case. X can only be subtracted from L and C. Here you are seeing that.
I can be only subtracted by V and X.
Yeah. Then
X can be only subtracted by C, and X can be only subtracted by C and L and C.
Subtracted from, not by.
Subtracted from L and C, and C can only be subtracted from D and M.
Yeah. So here what we are doing, we are subtracting X from M.
X from M.
But we know that X can only be subtracted from either L or C. That is why it is incorrect.
And we are violating also rule number 5.
Okay, what was rule 5?
Rule 5 was that I can be subtracted by V and X. X can be subtracted by L and C. From I can be subtracted from V and X.
Yeah.
X can be subtracted from L and C, and C can be subtracted from D and M.
Yeah, very good.
Thank you, sir.
Is this equal to 700?
No, sir.
Why? Why is this incorrect? I mean, what is the value? First of all, tell me the value of 700.
Sir, CCC is 300 and M is 500.
M
Oh,
is,
sorry, 1000.
yeah.
Sir, the answer will be
So you have written VIVDCC.
no, sir. I wrote it by mistake.
Yeah, DCC. But what is wrong with this one? Why can't I write it like this?
Sir, why?
See, I mean, it is not violating this rule as well, because we have seen that C can be subtracted from D and M. So we cannot say it has violated this rule. Right? So there is one more rule. So you can only subtract a number once. Right? So you cannot subtract it thrice with a given number. So you can only write it as a pair.
Yes.
Okay. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
So these are the only rules that you have to remember. Right? Again, I mean, you can just revisit it quickly. So the first rule is, if you are repeating something, just add it. Second rule said, you can only repeat it up to 3 times, not more than 3 times.
And VLD are never going to be repeat even a single time.
Yeah, you cannot repeat V, L, and D. The third rule said that if you have any number to the right hand side, any small number to the right hand side would mean that
right hand side is addition and left hand side is subtraction.
Yeah, so that was rule 4. And then again, you cannot subtract V, L, and D from any number.
I can be subtracted by Vx, X can be subtracted by LC, and C can be subtracted by DM, and VLD can't be subtracted as they are violating the rule number 2.
Yeah. Okay, this we have already seen. Now see, whenever you are given any number, right, say for example 56, so try to break it into the numbers that you already know. For example, you know I, you know V, you know X, you know the value of L, you know the value of C, you know the value of D, and you know the value of M. So you have to break this down into terms like either 1, either 5, either 10, 50, 100, 500 or 1000, right? And start with the largest number possible. For example, 56. So I can break this down as 50 plus 6. This is the first step, right? The second step would say, so 50 I already know this is L, so there is no point in worrying about this. 6 I cannot represent it as of now, so I'll use the closest number, right? So 5, right? And then plus 1. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
So this will be equal to, so 50 is L, 5 is V, and 1 is I. So LVI. Okay. For example, 23, right? I can write it as 20 plus 3. So 20 I can again write as 10 plus 10.
So 20 is XX.
Yeah. And 3 is triple I. Similarly, if you have 67, 67 you can write as 60 plus 7. 60 you can again break it down as 50 plus 10. Do you know why we are breaking it as 50 and 10 only?
Why?
See, because we know the values of the letters. So we know the values of the following numerals, either 1, 5, 10, 50, 100, 500 or 1000. So we have to break it into the following numbers only. So if I have 67, first of all what I do, I write it as 60 plus 7. 60, I have to write it in this form. So I wrote it as 50 plus 10. And 7, I wrote it as 5 plus 2. And 2, I can write it as 5 plus 1 plus 1. Okay? Any question?
No, sir.
Yeah, so 50, I know it is L, 10 it is X, 5 it is V, 1 it is I, and 1 it is N. Right? 4, I can write this as 5 minus 1. Notice that I cannot write this as 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1. Why?
Because violating again the rule number
2. Right? I mean, we cannot repeat it more than 3 times. Here we are repeating it 4 times. So here we have to find an alternate, which is 5 minus 1, which is IV. Again, once you have written the answer, check if it is violating any of the rules. If it is violating, then you have to come up with an alternate lettering format. Same case with 9. We can write it as 10 minus 1. So find the number that is closest to 9 in this list, right, or in this grid. Then you can subtract anything or add anything to it. So if you have 11, so the closest number in the grid to 11 is 10. So you write 10 plus 1. If you have 8, the closest number is 10, right? But can you write it as 10 minus 1 minus 1? No, why?
because if we round off 8 to 5, because it is more close. It's not even more close to 5. Why?
See, again here you can see we are subtracting the same number twice, which should not be done, right? So this is a very important rule that has to be remembered. So you cannot subtract anything more than twice. Just like you have the rule for repetition, you cannot repeat more than thrice. So you can only subtract a number once from a given number. Okay, is this clear? 80, so how can you represent 80? So I can write it as 100 minus 20, right? And then I can write this as 100 minus 10 minus 10. Is this correct? Why?
We can't subtract a number more than once.
Yeah. So then what we need to do here? Yeah. So find the next closest number. So I mean the closest was 100, but You notice that it is violating one of the rules. So find the next closest, which is 50. So we'll write 50 plus 10 plus 10 plus 10. Right? So that is why it will become L triple X. Okay. I'll just hide the solutions. Just let me know the Roman numbers corresponding to each of these.
So I have to write Roman numbers for all four of them?
Yeah.
Yes. So done.
Okay. So you have written L, XX and triple I for 73, right? Right. So 73, I mean the closest number to 73 is 50. So you write 50 plus 23. And then 23 you'll write 20 plus 3. So 10 plus 10. So when you are writing it in the very beginning, it is very important to write like this. Right? So when you are doing this for the first time. So 50 plus, so 50 is L, then this is 2x and then this is 3L. Then you check that is it violating any of the rules. So 3 it is repeating only 3 times, so it is correct. X it is repeating 2 times, so this is correct. L, I mean not violating any rules, so because L is not subtracted to anyone. So this is correct. 92 now if you look at your answer, you have written CXII. Right? However, if I would have to write 92, right, can you first check what is the value come on? So if you write it into number, what will this come out to be? XCII, right? So 92, you'll write as 100 minus 8 because 100 is the number that is closest to 92, right? And then 8 you can write this as 5 because you already know 8 we cannot write as 10 minus 1 because 1 will be repeated. 8 you can write as VIII, right? So you have written C. So if you subtract 10 from here, so this will become 90. Right? Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this will be 90 and then you just have to write 2. So you just write I and I. So what we have done here, instead of going by this route, you just wrote 90 plus 2. See, why we are doing this? Because you cannot subtract Roman numbers like this. So you have to write it somehow in plus form only. So 90 you'll write as 100 minus 10 plus 2. So 100 minus 10 you can write it this as XC and then plus I plus I. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any doubts?
Yes, sir.
Okay, 144 you have written as CXLIV. Right, so again 100, 40 and 4. Right, so you'll write this as 100 plus 44 and then you'll write this as 100 plus 40 plus 4. So 4 you can write this as IV, 40 you can write this as XL and 100 you can write this as C. So that is why it is CXLIV, which is correct. Then yeah. Finally, I've written 99 as CXIX. So 90 plus 9, right? So 90 plus 9. So you have written the opposite here. So this is 110 and not 90. So XC. XC is 90 and then IX is 9. So that is why this is 99. Okay, any question or any doubt?
No, sir.
Okay, fine. I have some questions from the worksheet. Okay, try writing 1960. 1960. Make sure you are following all the rules.
Sir, not CMX.
Cm Lx. Yeah, so this is, this is 900, right? And then Lx is 60. So this is only equal to 960. Yeah, MCM Lx. So you missed out on this M. Okay, right, 1666, 1666.
Sir, can I take time as much as I want?
Yeah, sure. But see, just remember that whenever you get questions like this, just break it down.
Sir, I have written my answer.
Okay. So I've written MDC LXBI. Yeah, this is correct. So this is 1666. Right. So the moment you break it as 1000 plus.
Sir, I break it exactly like you did.
Yeah. So 1000 plus 666. So this will become M 666. You'll again break this down. Follow the same process. We'll get to this. Yeah, I believe you have already followed this. Then tell me what number does this represent? MCMXC.
Sir, I have again written my answer.
Okay, 1990. Yeah, see, why can't we add C to M? And why are we subtracting C with M? So why are we not taking this pair as MC but taking this as CM?
Because, sir, if we add MC, it will become 1100.
Yeah, so what is the problem with that? If it is becoming 1100, then let it be. Right, see, but you have to identify if there is any issue with this thing. See, when you have a number, right, two numbers, the same numbers, right, and then you have a small number that is between them, right? So then there's a dilemma whether you should add this to this or you should subtract this with this, right? So in that case, you should only form group with the number that is to the right. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
So that is why you subtract. So whenever you see a pattern like this, so there will always be a confusion whether to write it as MC or use CM. If you use MC, yeah, go ahead.
Sir, sandwich rule.
Yeah. Right, so this rule we had discussed in the last class. So just remember, so there are some rules that are very, very important to remember. For example, this thing that we discussed, we cannot write this as 8 because you see, whenever you are subtracting a number, you should only subtract that number once. If you want to add, you can add it more than once. There's no issue. But when you are subtracting it, you should only subtract it once. You'll never see a pattern wherein you are subtracting a number more than once from this other number. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So again, this is just the summary. So I is 1, V is 5, X is 10, L is 50, C is 100, D is 500, M is 1000. So these are the only notations that we have to work for now. There are more larger numbers, but we are not interested in them. Then left means subtract, right means to add, right? V, L and D. So you cannot repeat it, you cannot subtract it, right? I you can only subtract from V and X. X you can only subtract from L or C, and C you can only subtract from, this is C, sorry, there's a mistake here. So C you can only subtract from either D or N. right? You cannot subtract C with C. Sorry, because C with C does not make any sense. So if you are doing C with C, this does not mean subtraction. This means you are repeating the same thing. So does this mean 0 or 200?
CC.
Yeah.
200.
Yeah. So you cannot subtract the same number. I mean one number from the same number. Right? Why? Because it means addition. When you are repeating something, it means addition. Okay. Again, I have this question for you. Try to find the value. Yeah, very good. So it is 465. Okay, so this is the final question for today. I believe you are clear on how to find, or I mean, just remember the rules. If you have any doubts, I'll share this recording and the material. Just go through the rules once more time, right? And if you have any doubts, just let me know, right? Because I'm going to share some questions on this, and yeah, you'll have to find the answer and then share it with me. Okay, so I mean, no need to match the columns. Just keep telling me the value that you'll get if you add the numbers. So first of all, tell me the value of CDV. What is the value of CDV?
Sir, 400.
400? Is this 400?
5.
Yeah, 405. What is the value of CLX?
CLX. Sir, CLX is. Sir, 160.
Yeah, very good. So 160. So now if you add both of them, 405 and 160, what do you get?
Sir, 565.
565. So what is the Roman number for 565? Yeah, very good. So this is DLXP. 500 plus 65. Right, okay. Then what is the value of DLXP? We have already calculated it, right?
565.
Yeah, 565. What is the value of XLV?
45.
45. Now if you subtract both of this, what do you get?
Sir, 520.
520. What is the Roman number for 520? DXX. Correct. Okay, so what is the value of triple CXI?
311.
311. And what is the value of DCL?
650.
650. If you add these 311 and 650, what is the value?
Sir, 961.
Yeah, 961. How do you represent 961 in Roman number? C M. Can you repeat? I just lost track of the chat. What was that? CM?
LXI.
CM LXI. Yeah. So 950, 61. Yeah. CMX. What is the value of CMX?
Sir, 910.
910. What is the value of DXIV?
514.
514. If you subtract both of these,
$396.
yeah, 396. How do you write 396 in Roman number? Yeah, correct. Right. So I mean, any doubts in any one of this? I believe no, because you're able to find each of them. So see,
No, sir.
DXLV. So this is here. DXX, it is here. CMLXI, it is here. And then the last one, triple C, XCVL, it is here. Right? I mean, before we close, can you just summarize what we studied?
Sir, we studied the rules of the Roman numerals.
Yeah.
Rule number 1 is if we have to write 2, just add.
Okay.
Then rule number 2 is V and D cannot be repeated even a single time, and they cannot be even subtracted even a single time. We always have to subtract a number once. We cannot subtract it more than once.
Yeah.
And rule number 2 is we can't repeat a number more than 3 times. For example, XXX is 30, but XXXX is not 40. XL is 40 because 40 is the closest number to 50 and L is 50. So L minus X, X is 10. So L minus X is equal to XL 40.
Yeah.
Then the rule is from the left hand side we have to subtract and from the right hand side we have to add.
Yeah.
Then the third rule was left hand side subtract and fourth was right hand side add.
Okay.
Then fifth rule was that I can be only subtracted from V and X.
Yeah.
X can be only subtracted from C and L.
Okay.
And I can be subtracted from V and X.
Yeah.
X can be subtracted from C and L.
Yeah.
No. X can be subtracted from C and L.
Yeah.
And C can be subtracted from D and M.
Yeah. So whenever you feel confused in this, just write I, V, X, L, C, D and M. Right? So these are the 7 letters only. So I can be subtracted from V and X can be subtracted from L and C can be subtracted from D and M. Right? So I, X and C. So when you write I, use the next 2. So I can only be subtracted from the next 2. When you write X can only be subtracted from the next 2. And when you write C can only be subtracted from next 2. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Fine, very good. Okay, then we'll close this topic and I'll share some questions. Try solving them. If you have any difficulties, just let me know. Okay?
So good night, sir. Bye, sir. Thank you, sir.
Bye, good night.